A few years ago, a national news network was responding to criticisms that all they ever seemed to cover was bad news. Wars, fires, famines, disasters. So they placed a reporter in front of a large oil tank. After a pause, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, if this tank exploded, there would be a tremendous disaster. Firefighters would be here, the networks would be here, there'd be helicopters overhead." But the tank didn't blow up. His point was well taken. Good news is boring. All the excitement seems to come in fighting the disasters, not preventing them from happening in the first place. And yet prevention is absolutely fundamental to quality improvement. In this unit, we're going to deal with continuous improvement, the key to the quality advantage. And as you'll see, there are three elements contained in continuous improvement: fix it, prevent it, and improve it. Obviously, you have to fix your problems, but that's not enough. You then have to prevent them from happening, but that's not enough. You have to continually examine all of your systems and constantly improve them. Again, it's through continuous improvement that we gain the quality advantage. Most of us are very skilled at fighting fires. We do it all the time. When you're fighting a fire, a quality fire, there are 2 or 3 points you really should keep in mind. First of all, fix it right away. There's an imperative to quality problems. You want to resolve them. You want to take advantage of the 1-10-100 rule. Put it in an hour now so you don't have to put in 10 hours or 100 hours later. Second, if you can't fix the problem, tell someone who can. Don't be the Lone Ranger. Bring as many people into the process as you possibly can. Third, rely on your own internal early warning systems. Most of us don't need management or quality control to tell us that something's going wrong with our systems. Once your problems are fixed, you want to put a stake in their heart. You want to prevent them from reoccurring. A good way to prevent problems from reoccurring is to simply ask the question, why? Why did it occur? If you do that continually, you'll eventually end up with the root cause. It's like pulling the dandelions out of your backyard. You got to rip them out by the roots. We had a problem recently on a project. We were getting a lot of errors. A group of very competent and skilled people who never made errors like that before kept repeating errors. We had a problem that we wanted to eliminate. We kept asking why. Why is there a problem? Because people are overworked and rushed. Why are they rushed? Because there aren't enough people assigned to the project. Why aren't there enough people assigned to the project? Because the person responsible for assigning them was out sick. Our root cause was a systems problem. We needed a person with authority to make assignments when the primary person wasn't there. If you can prevent your problems from reoccurring, you're now ready to deal with those problems of prevention that deal with issues that haven't broken yet. You know the old line, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Don't you believe it? We have to fix problems before they happen. One effective way of creating a prevention checklist is to use a very simple technique called a contingency diagram. All you have to do is to decide, what is it that you'd like to prevent from happening? And then brainstorm. Think about all the things you can think of that would make that happen. Just the opposite. For example, let's construct a checklist to minimize your risk of having a fatal accident. I'm assuming that none of you watching this has had a fatal accident, or you wouldn't be watching this. If we wanted to guarantee that you would have a fatal accident, what would we do? Well, we'd probably say, let's make sure that we all drink before we drive. Let's make sure that we never wear seatbelts. Let's make sure we have bald tires. Always drive in bad weather. The opposite of this now becomes our prevention checklist. In order to minimize our risk of having fatal accidents, let's make sure that we never drink before driving. Let's make sure that we do wear seatbelts, our tires are good in repair, and we always watch the weather. If we continually ask the question, why? If we use contingency diagrams to come up with prevention checklists, we can prevent a lot of problems from ever happening. One problem we can prevent from happening is the problem of falling tables. Let me tell you what I mean by the problem of falling tables. I was on a jury recently, and the case involved a school teacher that was suing the school system because of an accident that happened to her on the job. She was a grammar school teacher, and she was in the school cafeteria with her kids, and one of those 3-foot by 7-foot long heavy tables, the kind with the metal legs that fold up underneath, collapsed and fell across both of her feet. She was quite hurt, hospitalized, lots of pain and suffering, and subsequent testimony indicated that those tables collapsed almost every day. But this was the first time that anyone had ever been injured. When the superintendent of schools took the witness stand, he argued the school system wasn't responsible. Sure, the tables fell down, but they were promptly fixed each time. Her lawyer argued they should have had a way of preventing those tables from ever falling down. When asked if they had a system of prevention, he said, sure we do. It's in the manual of procedures for the school department. Well, that manual was subpoenaed. A taxi cab brought it down. A messenger brought it in. He opened it up to the section on prevention, and it was empty. And at that moment, we all knew that if they couldn't keep the manual in repair, they certainly couldn't keep the tables in repair. She won her lawsuit. In fact, she won enough money so that every kid in that school could have had his or her own private table. If only that school system had spent that dollar on prevention, they would have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars in lawsuits. Remember, the first step in continuous improvement is to first prevent your tables from falling on you every day at work. As we've seen, continuous improvement consists of fixing, preventing, and improving. Improvement takes two forms: small step, incremental improvements, and breakthroughs. Small step improvement comes about when we examine the pride dimensions, each one of them, and explore better ways to meet the needs of our customers, grinding out improvement every day. Breakthrough comes about when we take a fresh look, a new start, at how we provide what we provide. When we ask three questions: what new knowledge or skills do I need to better meet the needs of my customers? What new tools or equipment do I need to better meet the needs of my customers? What new methods or systems do I need? For example, one of our clients is a manufacturer of canned soups. During a recent packaging scare, they were flooded with calls from the public that wanted more information. Their current systems had no way of dealing with that. So they took a fresh look, and they resolved their problem by planting an 800 number on every can of soup. The phone rang, people got their information, sales went up. That was a breakthrough. Where do you find the answers to those questions? When do you find the answers? When you form a partnership with your customer. If it's an internal customer, that partnership becomes a new company, a little company within a company, to ask the same questions of the next customer in the chain. If everyone does that, eventually the organization becomes integrated, becomes focused on meeting the needs of the end customer. At that moment, your organization achieves its quality advantage. When we started our journey, we began by exploring the meaning of quality. What is quality? And then we took a look at the cost of quality to answer the question, why do you need quality? Then we explored that critical relationship between you and your customer to answer the question, how do you get quality? And finally, continuous improvement. How do you keep quality? You've just started your journey. Let's listen to some others who've already embarked on their journey to the quality advantage.
I feel really good about being involved in the quality process because it's given me a chance to learn a great deal that I never knew before, learn more about the company, and really ways that I can work on solving problems, not just necessarily with the company, but in a sense, maybe with some of my own problems in itself.
We are not just an operator. We are part of the company. We belong. Yeah, and we believe that we're number one, and we're going to keep it that way by correcting the problems in our own areas.
Before this process started here, when you came to work, there wasn't really any focus involved at all. You came in, you did your job, you went home. There was no sense of belonging to an organization. Since we've started the program, everyone comes in a little bit differently. There's a sense that people have something to do here, that it really matters what you do, it matters what you think. There's a sense of contribution now.
The improvements we've seen have been specifically in the area of the cost of quality and in productivity of individuals. And the reason has been that the individual knows more about his job than any other person. And allowing them to make their own decision and give them the tools to make their own decision with through these programs, we've allowed them to now make their own decisions and create an environment where the cost of quality in our organization has dropped dramatically and the productivity has improved dramatically.
What we're doing is investing in a process that helps people learn how to solve their own problems. And I think what has happened here is not only have they learned the steps they need in order to solve the problem, but they've also learned to work with each other much better. So it's building a team in addition to actually having them feel good about solving problems.
We've had a lot of programs in the past, which we had a tendency to drop because they didn't work, but I don't feel that way about this one. I feel like we're into it, we're backed by management all the way to the top, all the way. They're totally involved in it, and they let us know that.
Before you know it, you've got a group of people that are really trying to accomplish something. They don't really know exactly what it is in the beginning, but as you go on, and the technique starts to stick and they realize what they're doing, then it really gets to them. And you know, they get all worked up and they really get into it.
The quality process in our organization does not always work in every instance, but it works in such a high percentage of the time that it's worth all the effort that you put into it. There's a lot of hard work in it. But the people that are involved, the benefit that's gained from it, they're the ones that realize the benefit from it, and the company realizes the benefit. So it's worth all the effort that they put into it.
I can't think of a more dramatic result than for the individual to feel important. And it's reflected in the work. Productivity is up, absenteeism is down, recruitment is enhanced, and there is this individual feeling of self-worth.
You know, quality, just the finished quality of the product. Total quality process is more than just product quality, but one of the end results, if we do all of our jobs right, if I do my job better, the salesman does his job better, the ultimate product and our customers are going to benefit.
What I was frustrated with initially was that all the problems ended up on my desk. Somebody at the top was supposed to solve the problems because they had all the answers. And what I had to convey to people was, I don't have the answers, you have the answers. And what I would like to do is give you the skills you need to solve your problems so that you can come up with your own answers. And that's precisely what we've done.